Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's week 10 in the NFL. We are talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, a guy who does great work with his premium picks at his website. He gave the Colts on the money line last week. Unbelievable. In our videos, he always covers the game. I ask him to take toughest games of the week every week, and Jacksonville, Baltimore is what we're going to discuss right now, Joe. Another really, really tough one. You are free to pass, of course, on this one officially because I assigned this game to you. We'll see what you have to say about it. Baltimore, of course, just having a tough year, right? They're struggling all over the place, but most of their losses have come by very few points. They could easily have a much better record than they do. They're still 1-6-1 though against the spread. Although before their bye, that was when that did include the two games before the bye did include their one cover on the year and one of their two straight up wins. Right now they're a 5.5 or 6 point home favorite over Jacksonville. The Jags, played well against the Jets. They actually way outgained them. They got screwed by turnovers, so they arguably should have won that game. The question is just, how much is Baltimore going to be able to improve with the bye week? How much are they going to be able to bounce back? Not exactly sure. Allen Hurns is banged up for the Jags now. Tough game. What's your take on this? What can you tell us, Joe?
Well, this game is certainly one of the reasons why you got to look past the straight-up records. These teams would appear to be equal on straight-up records, but when you look at the margin of victory, as you said, the Ravens had certainly lost some close games. The Ravens are only minus 3 points per game. The Jaguars minus 8.2 points per game, despite both having that 2-6 straight-up record. But we also found out that favorites of more than a field goal with a winning percentage of 250 or less, and that's with 5 losses minimum to make sure it's a legitimately bad record, are only 32-44 against the spread. Again, nothing all that phenomenal, but that does favor the Jaguars. And since I have so many regression to the mean type angles, maybe that is a little bit significant. I also do think that, yes, of course, a lot of teams have guys that are banged up this time of the year, but if Bortles to Hurns and Robinson quietly evolving as one of the better pass catch combinations in the league. Bortles was thrown to the Wolves last year. He had a bunch of wide receiver injuries and suspensions and all that other stuff. Now that he's finally getting some healthy receivers and he's developing a little bit of some camaraderie with them. Steve Smith, of course, is out for the year with the Ravens. They already lost Terrell Suggs. Remember, they drafted Brashard Perryman, who was supposed to strengthen their wide receiving core. So now, they knew they wanted to improve their wide receiving core. They tried, and then they got a big injury, and now Steve Smith is out. So this Ravens team is not certainly as good as they were at the beginning of the year. So even though their points per game is much better than the Jaguars, I really think the Jaguars are the team that's trending upward a little bit more still. Whether or not, I think this is, I think I made an official pick on every game we've done this week. This one I would pass, even though I'd say lean towards the Jaguars.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Hurns. Wasn't Hurns banged up last game? Is he definitely playing for this one, or is he questionable, or is he maybe out?
Well, I will definitely, before I perhaps make a premium pick on this, I will definitely look at that very closely. But I think at this moment that he should have his 2 top wide receivers. At least I went to the Jaguars official website, and they were previewing it with both of those guys available.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It's just kind of hard to get a feel for how Baltimore is going to respond to the bye. I mean, from what I've been reading, and you don't know, how biased that is, but supposedly John Harbaugh and the team are upbeat. They think they can make the playoffs if they win out. They don't seem like a team that is throwing in the towel just yet. So I'm not sure I'd want to bet against that, right, Joe?
Well, I would say, yeah. It's one of those contrarian things. Once you hear a bunch of people saying that a certain team has quit on the year, that's when you know to bet the other side. That just doesn't happen. But I don't think they're throwing in the towel. But I do think it's impossible to not be frustrated because they had a lot more expectations, and now they've had key injuries. So they're not throwing in the towel. But you could also see how Jacksonville, with maybe showing a little bit of an upside and a younger team, and they're not really going below expectations the way Baltimore is, that maybe the intangibles would favor Jacksonville. But no, teams don't throw in the towel. Maybe if it's the final week of the year, perhaps, but no, they don't throw in the towel this early, that's for sure.
All right, well, this is a tough one. I appreciate you taking it, Joe Duffy. Tell us what we can find at your website, OffshoreInsiders.com. That's where you pick all your top plays each week, not the games I assign you, right, Joe?
Yeah, I think it's 55-33 with all wise guy plays. That goes back to baseball, includes 11 dandy dogs. Dandy dogs are dogs of $1.40 or more. Plus, we had a dandy dog in the NFL last week on the Indianapolis Colts, where we flat out said they would win outright on the money line, giving Denver the first loss of the year. I have another money line winner this weekend in the NFL, undefeated this year with such plays. Biggest college football weekend of the year, best year ever by any person, anywhere, anytime in college and pro football, offshoreinsiders.com.
All right. Nice pitch, Joe Duffy. Talk to you again very soon.